A developer in Lagos closes a remote contract with a US startup. He's doing the exact same work as his American teammate. Same repo, same stand-ups, same deliverables. But he's making 60% less, and he accepted that gap because he thought it was normal. It's not normal. It's a negotiation failure. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to research what you're actually worth, how to respond when a company tries to pay you by your zip code instead of your skills, and the exact words to use when it's time to push back. Let's get into it. Here's the uncomfortable truth: most African developers get underpaid not because they lack skills, but because they enter negotiations without a number. They wait for the company to anchor first, and then they accept whatever comes. Companies know this. Recruiters at remote-first US firms are trained to use geo-based pay bands, which means they look at your location and apply a local cost of living discount to a global role. Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, they all have lower cost of living indexes than San Francisco, so companies use that to justify paying you less. But here's the thing: your output doesn't have a location. A React component you build in Nairobi runs the same in New York. The developer who gets paid fairly is the one who walks in knowing the global rate and refuses to let geography be the ceiling. The first step to doing that is understanding exactly where the gap comes from, because once you see the logic, you can dismantle it. And we start with data. You cannot negotiate without a number, and you cannot get a number without research. Here are 3 tools you should open right now. First, levels.fi. It aggregates total compensation data for software engineers at companies like Google, Stripe, and hundreds of mid-sized startups, broken down by role, level, and location. Search for your exact title and filter by remote roles. Second, Glassdoor's salary tool, less precise but useful for seeing salary ranges posted by the company itself. Third, LinkedIn Salary Insights, available if you have premium, and it shows salary ranges filtered by title and region. Now here's the critical move: when you find a salary range on any of these platforms, use the 75th percentile number as your anchor, not the median. The median includes underpaid people who didn't negotiate. You're not going to be one of them. Write down 3 numbers before any interview: your target number, your acceptable minimum, and your walk-away floor. If a company comes in below your floor, you thank them and leave. Having those 3 numbers written down is the difference between negotiating and just reacting. At some point a recruiter will say something like, "Our compensation is adjusted for your local market." This is the moment most developers fold. Don't. Here is the exact counter-argument. You say, "I understand you factor in cost of living, but the role is location independent. I'm benchmarking my rate against global remote compensation for this skill set, not against local salaries in my city. I'd like to align on a number that reflects the market for the role, not the market for my address." Then you stay quiet. Let that land. If they push back with a specific number, respond with your research 75th percentile figure and explain how you got there. Say, based on levels.fi data for senior backend engineers in remote roles at Series B companies, the range is $X to $Y. I'm targeting the midpoint of that range. Now you're not making an emotional argument, you're making a data argument. Companies respond to data. And if they still insist on geo-discounting, the next chapter tells you exactly what that means for your decision. Nothing shifts leverage in a negotiation faster than a competing offer. But what if you only have one offer? You still have options. If you're actively applying, even if you're early in other processes, you can say, "I'm currently in late-stage conversations with 2 other companies, and I want to be transparent that those roles are coming in around $X. I'm genuinely excited about this opportunity, but I'd need the offer to be competitive." You're not lying. You are in conversations. You don't have to name the companies. This technique works because it reframes the negotiation from, "Please give me more money," to match what the market is offering me. The company's incentive shifts. Now they're not doing you a favor, they're competing for talent. If you want to build real leverage, use a tool like Otter or Remotive to apply to at least 3 companies simultaneously, not sequentially. Sequential applications mean you almost never have competing offers. Simultaneous applications mean you almost always do. The company that wants to close you fastest becomes your price setter, and everyone else has to beat it. A lot of developers fixate on base salary and miss the full picture of compensation. At US and European companies, total comp includes base salary, equity, usually in the form of stock options or RSUs, a signing bonus, annual performance bonuses, and benefits like health insurance, learning stipends, and equipment allowances. If a company says they can't move on base salary, immediately ask about these other levers. Say, I understand base might be constrained by your band. Can we talk about the signing bonus or the equity grant? A $5,000 signing bonus is real money. A learning stipend of $2,000 per year compounds. If they offer equity, use a tool called Carter or the company's own cap table summary to understand the vesting schedule, typically 4 years with a 1-year cliff. Don't accept equity you don't understand. Also, ask explicitly, is this a remote-first company or remote-friendly? Remote-first means you won't be penalized in future raises or promotions for not being in the office. Remote-friendly often means you will be. That distinction is worth thousands of dollars over the lifetime of the role. Most developers dread the negotiation call because they haven't rehearsed it. Here's the exact script. When they extend a verbal offer, say, "Thank you, I'm genuinely excited about this. Can I take 48 hours to review the full details before I respond?" Always ask for time. Always. When you come back, say this, "I've done some research on market compensation for this role, and based on what I found I'd like to propose a base of $X. I believe that reflects both the scope of the role and the value I'll bring from day one. Is there flexibility there?" Notice you're asking if there's flexibility, not demanding. That framing makes it easier for the recruiter to go back to their manager. If they come back below your target but above your floor, respond, "I appreciate the movement. Would you be able to get to $Y? That's where I'd be ready to sign today." The phrase "ready to sign today" is powerful. It closes the loop for them. Practice this out loud 3 times before the call. Seriously, 3 times. Your voice will be steadier than you think. Signing the offer is not the end of the negotiation, it's the start of the next one. On your first day, ask your manager, what does outstanding performance look like at the 6-month mark? Write down exactly what they say. At month 4, document your output against those benchmarks. Use a tool like Notion or a simple Google Doc to build what I call a brag sheet, a running log of your contributions, including pull requests merged, features shipped, bugs fixed, and any metrics you moved. At the 6-month review, open with, "I wanted to share what I've accomplished against the goals we set." Then show the doc. Then say, "Based on my impact and the growth I see in the role, I'd like to discuss aligning my compensation to the next level." Developers who get raises aren't just the best coders, they're the ones who make their value visible. Your brag sheet is evidence. And if the company still won't move after a year of documented impact, that data is also your most compelling asset when you take your skills to the next company, at a higher rate. The market rewards developers who know their worth. Now you do. Here's the one thing I want you to walk away with: the company will pay you what you negotiate, not what you deserve, so negotiate with data, not hope. If this video helped you, subscribe to techverse.daily because we put out content like this every week for African tech professionals building real careers. And watch our video on landing your first remote job, it pairs directly with everything we covered today.